and welcome to Sew on the Raw. My name is Marina and today is the first video in a series I'm going to do because I get so many requests about this on easy, quick vegan recipes. So it's going to be a 5-part series. Today I'm going to share my main tips about creating easy, quick, and really nutritious vegan recipes. And for the next 4 weeks, I'm going to share breakfast, snacks, lunch, and dinner. Each video is going to have 3 recipes, so you'll have plenty to choose from. They're all amazing, and I know you're going to love them. So be on the lookout for that. And today I'm just going to give you my top 5 tips on how to create really easy and quick, and also really healthy and nutritious vegan meals. So this recipe is actually inspired by my online course, the Effortlessly Flavorful Vegan Kitchen, and I'll be talking about it more for the next 4 weeks. It's going to be opening for enrollment really soon, and the whole course is dedicated to teaching you exactly this: how to make quick and easy vegan meals that taste awesome to you and that you can serve your family, that they're finally going to love vegan food, and that you don't need to struggle anymore, and you can actually enjoy your quick time in the kitchen and just make food that you love. So I'm gonna put a link to find out more information about the course, to waitlist for the course, up here, as well as in the description box below. And the course is all online. Once you enroll, you can do it whenever you want. You have lifetime access, so you can do it in 6 months or you can do it right away, and you can rewatch all the video tutorials and see the recipes, and it comes with PDFs and videos and also access to me in a closed Facebook group that is just for the course. So it's really great, and check it out, and I'll be telling you again more about that in future videos. So let's get started with the tips that I want to share with you today. The full information and the recipes that I mentioned in these tips are going to be on my blog, so I will link that below and also up here as always. And I want to get started with telling you my vegan story because I think you're going to relate, especially if you feel like you're struggling, you have no time, and you really want to do this at the same time. So when I was 22 years old, I moved from San Diego, which is where I live right now, to Jerusalem. And it wasn't my first time there, so it wasn't completely foreign to me, but it was the first time I was really independent, and I was after college. I went there to get my master's, and I was working 3 jobs to support myself. I was kind of away from my core family for the first time, so it was you know, a learning experience. And at the same time, my mom had been sick for quite a while with interstitial cystitis, which is a bladder disease, and it was very severe. She couldn't leave the house. She was in really intense pain, and she kind of did everything that the doctors were telling her, and nothing was working. And I remember coming home to visit in the summer, and she really couldn't function. She couldn't speak to me. She was just in so much pain. And when I left, because we were so close and we couldn't really have a good relationship when she was that sick, she decided to take it into her own hands, pretty much. And she decided to fast on water, and also to go plant-based, go vegan, go raw vegan actually. So her story really inspired me, and my partner and I decided that we want to give it a try. And we were pretty much clueless. So, you know, here's this amazing story in my family of how much somebody changes through food and through proper nutrition and gains her life back. And I didn't mention this, but she actually completely healed her bladder on her own through food. And so we were so inspired by the story, and we wanted to prevent disease for the future, and we also wanted to get more energy and to feel more clear-minded and to really nourish our body the way it's supposed to, but we were clueless. And back then there was not a lot of information. I don't think there is now either. I mean, there's a lot more, but if you are choosing to be a vegan, you're kind of alone in a way, because society is mostly not vegan, right? I think vegans are like 3%, or even maybe that's even vegetarians right now in the United States. So we are definitely a minority. And I was so busy, and I just remember coming home 10 p.m. exhausted from 3 jobs and my studies, and then having to figure out food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and stuff to take with me to work, and all this stuff, and it just felt impossible. And I didn't give up on it because I was so inspired, and I had that inspiration kind of guiding me. But I struggled a whole lot for about a year or 2. I just kept learning and watching YouTube and reading things and really spending tons and tons of time in the kitchen, and it felt like every recipe was complicated. There was no way to make food that tasted really awesome without like 15 ingredients, and I was like, I don't want to put together 15 ingredients. So if you feel that way, I just want you to know that keep that inspiration in the back of your mind going, because that's really what matters. And there's so much information out there to help you, and I really hope that today I can help you, and the online course that I mentioned can definitely help you. That is why I created it, because I know that I struggled, and I just want to provide a shortcut for people. So now I want to share the tips with you. I have 5 great tips, and they basically combine the idea of creating quick and easy meals together with nutritious meals, so that everything is homemade, it's all whole foods, and it's lots of raw food in there, and just really, really good for you. So let's get into it. The first tip I have for you is greens powders. Now, my first choice is actually using fresh greens, but they take time to wash and chop and all these things. So if you are in a hurry and you're going to work and you want to have some extra greens in your diet, you can always get a really good greens powder. And on the blog, I have provided some recipes where you can use greens powder. It can be in a smoothie, but it can even be in like a main dish or your lunch. Just adding a bit of greens powder in there actually boosts the nutrition, and it's such an easy little way to get more greens. The next one, and probably my favorite, is smoothies and smoothie bowls. And if you visit my Instagram, you know that I'm obsessed with smoothie bowls. And the reason being is that they literally take 5 minutes to make, and you can just pack them with nutrition, and they taste so freaking good. So it's just putting a bunch of stuff in your blender, blending it, and eating it. And it's so incredibly easy, and it's so good for you. And I remember when I would use chronometer.com to calculate, my nutrient intake and my calories and all this kind of stuff. And if you're new at being vegan, you should definitely check out Chronometer, because it's very helpful. I would get like 50% of my nutrition from my breakfast smoothie bowl. So it's a really great tool, and it's very, very easy to make. My third tip is to add spices to your meals. And spices can be very sneaky to add, because, for example, my favorite is turmeric, and on the blog I've listed the best spices from nutritionfacts.org, the healthiest ones. And in my smoothie bowls, I put turmeric and black pepper. And you only need a little bit to really get their benefits, because they're so concentrated. So think about it. A spice is using herbs and greens and all these amazing, what I consider superfoods, and drying them up and grinding them. So it's very concentrated, and it just has so many benefits for you. So adding these into every meal, like things like cinnamon and oregano and turmeric and others, really boost the nutrition of your meal, and it's so easy to do. Number 4 is using sprouted legumes, grains, and beans. And the reason why I love to do this so much is twofold. Number 1, you get to save time on cooking, and we all know that beans take forever, but when they're sprouted, it's a lot faster to cook them. And number 2 is that when you sprout a legume, a grain, or a bean, you're actually increasing the absorption of nutrients that happens when you eat it. So your body absorbs more nutrients from it than if you wouldn't sprout it. So it's a really great thing to do. And the cool news is that these days you can actually buy pre-sprouted legumes, grains, and beans. So I've linked all the places where you can buy them and some recipes to use them in on the blog. And lastly, and probably also a favorite of mine, except for the smoothie bowls, so for my savory meals, I really, really like to make sauces, because that's what makes food taste so good. the vegetables taste so amazing. And I really like to use nut and seed butters for this. And the reason is that it's very quick because you don't need to soak the nuts and seeds. It's already ground, it's already made for you, and you don't even have to use the blender. You can actually mix up sauces if you have a nut or seed butter in a little bowl, and it just takes minutes to do. And I really teach a lot about this in the Effortlessly Flavorful Vegan Kitchen. I show you both how to use nut and seed butters in the blender, but also how to do it in a bowl. So if you're in a pinch, you can literally blend up a little sauce or whisk it together in a small bowl, chop up broccoli, and have that for dinner. And it is so delicious, full of nutrients, and really, really amazing. So I love it so much, and I use sauces in almost every savory dinner recipe. So those are my 5 tips. Again, we talked about adding greens powders when you're in a pinch and you don't want to wash fresh greens, making smoothies and smoothie bowls, having your grains, beans, and legumes sprouted, having nut and seed butters as bases for sauces and dips and dressings, and adding spices to all of your meals. Those were the 5. I hope these are helpful for you and show you how it's easy to do little tweaks to just add so much nutrition to your diet. And if you want the practical stuff, the recipes, those are on the blog. So under each of the 5 tips, there are 3 recipes that you can try out with these tips in them, and the recipes are easy and quick and so much fun. For the next 4 weeks, again, I'll be doing more videos with just the recipes, so look out for that. We're gonna have a lot of fun together. And just to remind you, check out the Effortlessly Flavorful Vegan Kitchen, especially if you're struggling and you feel like you have no time and this vegan thing just feels heavy on you and that you're not really enjoying your meals very much and you're struggling. This is going to get you where you want to get so much faster. You could do it on your own like I did, but it took me like 1 or 2 years to actually figure it out. So I just want to provide a shortcut for you. So again, you can check out the course and waitlist at the link. It's going to be in the description box and up here. And I'm so excited to spend the next 4 weeks with these awesome recipes that I know you're going to love. So I will see you next week.